Well, a very good evening to you and welcome to EBN Weekend Edition. It is exactly 9 p.m. My name is Sammy Adika. Indeed, a lot has happened early in the day, but first taking a look on some of the stories making it to the top of the hour. The 10-member National Dialogue Committee now says they will give priority to issues related to electoral justice. In a statement released on Friday, the committee grouped the issues raised by both coalitions into 5 categories and is said to prioritize the reconstruction of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, and the auditing of the 2022 general election. The committee has set a meeting on September 11th to discuss boundary delimitation, which is set to bring balance to different counties.
In view of that, sent out 2 letters also, as we have agreed to the IEBC selection panel, as we indicated, to just take judicial notice of the issue that they are handling, that we're also handling on the reconstitution of the IEBC Commission. We have concurrently also written to the multi-sectoral working group on the realization of the 2/3 gender rule, because they're also working on an issue that that is also before us. And we have expressed our desire as among the stakeholders to be engaging with those 2 teams. As we have also noticed in today's print media, the advertisement or the announcement for receipt of memoranda from stakeholders and from Kenyans is already out, and we do expect that in the next few days, Kenyans will be submitting their memoranda to the National Dialogue Committee. Our technical team and our secretariat will be working the whole of next week to allow them time to receive this memoranda from the members of the public, as they also put together the issues as prioritized for discussion by the National Dialogue Committee that will be reconvening again on the 11th of September. That is next Monday, but 1. We have taken that 1-week break to allow the technical team and the secretariat to work around the issues of the memoranda and the issues that will be coming from both sides of the political divide, and also allow us to attend to the Africa Climate Change Summit that will be ongoing next week. Thank you. Kenyans, of course, have other fora to engage on many other issues, and therefore, including Parliament. We are receiving petitions and memoranda from Kenyans every day to engage on issues that relate to them. So the Secretariat and the Technical Committee will be working to ensure that they properly code the issues that will be brought before us, but again is in pursuit of the constitutional provisions that we must have a people participatory process in everything that we do in this country.
And President William Ruto has officially opened Talanta Plaza in Upper Hill, Nairobi, set to house the offices of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Arts and other offices of sports federations. Ruto also noted that the Talanta Hela initiative is a bottom-up economic agenda focusing on empowerment, creation of opportunities, and the transformation of sports, youth affairs, and arts.
Reflects our commitment to sports, youth, and arts, and is now the nerve center of the Talanta Hela initiative, our flagship program to monetize talent in our country. It is the new home of the advancement of sports, the growth of arts, and the empowerment of our young people across all talents. This is the new home of sports promotion, football, volleyball, swimming, golf, motorsport, tennis, cycling, shooting, archery, and cricket, among many. This building brings together all ministry staff under one roof. This will promote collaboration, build synergy, and facilitate a constant exchange of ideas and knowledge across the ministry. I now want to ask that we accelerate the process of moving all the departments from all over the place to this building. And with that, I hope we can build on the already successful work that the ministry is doing, and I hope it will reflect in due course. The Talanta Hela initiative is a true bottom-up program focused on empowerment, the creation of opportunities, and the transformation of sports, youth affairs, and arts into a viable vehicle for transforming our country and expanding opportunities for our young people.
We have moved with haste again to develop a master plan for development of infrastructure. And it's because of that master plan that we have been able to do emergency interventions. Today, Nyayo's National Stadium has been readmitted by CAF and can now host international games.
Now on matters border subsector, 3 months after President William Ruto on Madaraka Day announced Kenya will roll out local production of electric bikes. Earlier on Friday, the head of state launched electric motorcycles, commonly known as e-boda, set to retail at 150,000 Kenya shillings. According to the Kenya Kwanza government, the initiative aims to accelerate e-mobility adoption, empower youth, and lower the operation cost in the boda industry.
Ya hii pikipiki yenu sasa itakuwa bei nusu ya ile mlikuwa mnalipa ya petroli. So mambo iko sawa, nyinyi mjipange. Sasa kila mtu atakuwa na kakitu kwa mfuko. Si ndio? Na mtajipanga hapo. Ya mwisho vile vile tumesema hii pikipiki imekuwa ni sekta ambayo bodaboda imekuwa ni sekta ambayo iko na ajali nyingi. Umesikia vile waziri amesema kati ya ajali 5,000 Kenya, ajali maafa 5,000, 3,000 inatokana na pikipiki. Na sana sana ni kwa sababu ya pikipiki zinazoendeshwa kwa kasi. Sasa hii pikipiki tutakuwa tuna regulate speed. Hata ukiwa mjeuri kiasi gani, utaisukuma haitapita 60 kilometers per hour.
Kuwa na mkutano mkubwa sana ya kuhamasisha watu na kuzungumzia mambo ya climate change. Njia moja ya kukabiliana na climate change ni kuhakikisha ya kwamba tuko na magari na bodaboda ambayo ni ya stima ama inatumia nguvu za umeme. Hakikisha tumeupdate ile inaitwa National Transport Policy ndio tupate ile inaitwa e-mobility policy. Hiyo policy sasa ndio itaelekeza sisi kuona ni njia gani tutaweza kuenda kwa mambo ya charging kama vile tunajua swapping stations, kwa mambo ya tutahakikisha aje ya kwamba yale mapikipiki ambayo sasa hivi yanatumia petroli itapenduliwa namna gani ifikie yale ambayo yanatumia umeme, na hawa wakina bodaboda watasaidiwa aje wakati tunasafiri kwa safari hiyo kutoka bodaboda ile inatumia petroli kufikia ile ya umeme. We will be the first country in the continent of Africa and in most developing countries to have the e-mobility policy and e-mobility law, and we will be the leading nation because you have positioned yourself and our country to be the leading nation on matters e-mobility.
Well, quite an interesting move right there by the Kenya Kwanza government. We do hope that the initiative will be effective. Now on matters power outage probe, Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir has recommended lifting of the ban on signing of power purchase agreements to enable his ministry replace retiring power plants in the country that affect power outages. Appearing before the National Assembly Committee on Energy, Chirchir attributed the deficit of generation capacity required to meet the growing demand of power supply in the country to the stalling of signing the PPS. Well, CS Chirchir, together with KPLC CEO Joseph Siror, appeared before the committee to respond to national power outage on Friday last week.
If we talk about an electrical system, and I think the CS did mention about it, there are quite a number of advanced protection systems. We actually have a whole array of protection to ensure that the equipment is protected, the people are protected, and that if there is an area which has an issue, it's isolated so that it doesn't affect the rest. Now, in talking about that, maybe just to shed a little bit light, and I'm happy that I'm talking to an engineer, if you look now within possibly a substation setup, and looking at the equipment in a substation yard, the key protection systems that we mainly use is differential, which is just looking at, maybe for simplicity, if 200 amps is entering an equipment, you would expect, if there is no loss and if the voltages are the same, then what you'd also be leaving is 200 amps. Now, the protection system under the differential would be comparing what has gone into the equipment and what is coming out. Now, if there is a serious difference between what is going in and coming out, the protection system will know that there is a fault in this equipment, or there is a short, or that current is going elsewhere. And that is now what tells, and the protection relay will actually tell the two breakers, which are always on either side of the equipment, to open and isolate this equipment, because possibly there is a short and it is damaging. Then the level of load shedding to implement. Now, if the frequency drops too much, and that means you've lost a very big generation or a very big load, what then happens would be a change in frequency that is too high, that cannot be mitigated by load shedding. And you would realize that the CS did mention that the system lost 190 megawatts in 150 milliseconds. That was a very short period of time.
And in yet another surprise visit to Nyayo House on Friday morning, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has noted that his random visits are aimed at encouraging staffs to clear the passport backlog witnessed for months now. Kindiki also noted that an emergency desk has been established at the Immigration Department in Nyayo House to fasten the process of passports. The CS has also maintained his stand on the fight against corruption in Nyayo House and told idlers to keep off the building.
We had two problems here, two challenges. One was the challenge of technology and production. That is what was hurting service delivery here. The second challenge was the challenge of corruption. And we don't want to mince our words about that. The only caveat we want to place is that the issues of bribery, solicitation, and corruption involved very few people here. And many of them are members of the public who are pretending to be our officers, but they are just brokers from town and criminals. Even among our staff from the immigration and also our staff from the National Police Service who work here to support the work going on here, the majority of them are doing a good job. Our production of passports is still below the demand. We will bring normalcy by first addressing the entire backlog, and once the backlog is completely removed, we will stick to the directive that I gave in February, which is every applicant of a passport must receive it within 7 working days. And if it is an emergency, they must receive their document, their passport, within 24 hours. Once we sustain that objective, we will bring that timeline down again, but we want to go step by step.
And motorists in Nairobi have been warned of traffic disruptions during the Africa Climate Summit week from September 4th to 6th. Nairobi Regional Police Commander Adamson Bungei said that a section of key roads leading in and out of Nairobi will be closed from Monday to Wednesday next week to ensure that safety of dignitaries and delegations attending the forum. Among the roads expected to be closed include Parliament Road, City Hall Junction, Taifa Road and Harambe Avenue.
For information that Kenya will be hosting the Africa Climate Summit from 4th to 6th September 2023 at Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi, Kenya. For the Regional Police Command, in collaboration with other national security agencies, will provide optimum security throughout the 3 phases of the event. That is on arrival, stay, and subsequent departure of our delegates. And this also is to inform the members of public that they are not out of this service. They will also be provided the same security within the other areas of CBD. In this, I mean the Central Business Center. So that should inform the public that their security will be assured as well. I want to also remind or rather inform the public that there are some areas that are marked to be red zones. Red zone means the areas that will be fully meant for delegates only, or those who will be participating in this particular summit within KICC. The most affected areas, or those which will be within the red zone, will be Arambe Avenue. Arambe Avenue, we have Taifa Road, to include Reassurance Plaza and also the sunken parking. We also have City Hall Way, and we also have Parliament Road, International Hotel and Olive, Intercontinental Hotel and Olive Family Basilica. That is to inform public that those areas may not be accessible and will not be accessible.
And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has affirmed Kenya's commitment in upholding the good bilateral relations with its partners. Gachagua emphasized on the commitment to create a good business environment for investors. Well, DP Gachagua made the remarks at the awarding ceremony of African Tech Challenge. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua also lauded AVIC International for the program that plays a key role in enhancing the technical skills of students pursuing technical courses in Kenya.
We have, as an administration, given clear and categorical instruction to our cabinet secretaries and the principal secretaries to make it easy for any investor from anywhere in the world to come and invest here. We have done away with bureaucracy and red tape in terms of accrediting and allowing investors to come to this beautiful country. So I want to invite every investor who has some money, who has some technology, who has some idea to come to this beautiful country and invest here.
Well, Chief Justice Martha Koome presided over the opening of a new court building, the Olkalou Law Courts Complex, which will house the Nyandarua High Court, Environment and Land Courts, and a magistrates court. Speaking during the launch, Koome said that establishment of this facility is also in alignment with the judiciary's vision of a people-centered justice system that is accessible, cost-effective, efficient, and responsive to the needs of the public.
Justice does not belong to the judiciary. It belongs to all of us. It belongs to the national government, to the county government, and to the communities, to all of us. And that is why the Constitution commanded us that we must make sure justice is accessible to all the people, including the marginalized. This event marks and parallel milestone not only for the people of Nyandarua County, but also for the judicial system of our great country. To us, this is a significant occasion in our journey to mark justice and to ensure that justice is accessible to our people. The inauguration of Olkalou Law Courts Complex, which will be the home for the Nyandarua High Court, Nyandarua Environment and Land Court, and the Magistrates Court here in Nyandarua County. The Olkalou Law Courts will now serve as a beacon of justice, enabling easy access to adjudicative services, and our farmers, our teachers, our mothers, or even our children will not have to leave this community and go in unfamiliar territory to seek justice. They'll be seeking justice in their very own home, the Nyandarua County.
Now, on matters technology, ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo has said that the government seeks to establish digital hubs in 1,450 wards across the country. Speaking while launching a free public Wi-Fi hotspot hub in Marikiti Water Market, Owalo said the digital hubs will enable youth and women to learn and access technological skills in order to secure digital jobs. The free Wi-Fi hotspot hubs initiative will also be extended to markets and bus terminus parks across the country to enable youth and businessmen to access digital space in their locality.
Tunataka wananchi wawe na hiyo simu kwa sababu huduma zote za serikali tutaweka kwa mtandao. Maneno ya kuenda kwa maafisi za serikali kutafuta huduma za serikali, hiyo tunataka tukomeshe, ili hata ukiwa kwa nyumba yako, ukiwa na simu, unaweza pata huduma ya serikali ukiwa nyumbani.
There should be an office in markets kama hapa, ambapo mtu akitaka huduma ya serikali asitoke hapa. Kwa sababu huyu wale tumewapatia kazi wanafanya hapa, akitoka hapa panauza nyanya akaenda huduma center, hapa anaacha bure na kazi inaharibika. Kwa hiyo mtusaidie ndio hao wananchi waweze kupata huduma ya serikali wakiwa hapa.
Now crossing over to Migori County. Well, Migori County government has embarked on a digital registration process of 176,000 households so as to enable the local farmers access government subsidized fertilizer and other farm inputs. Migori County Executive Committee member for Agriculture, Fisheries and the Blue Economy, Lucas Mosenda, said that the target households will be placed in a common database for easy identification and processing.
So we'll be going to the village level, ensure that we capture the data for all the farmers. We have enumerators who have been trained from the agricultural and also the social development program. They'll be working with the village elders to ensure that each and every farmer is captured.
The wider approach to it is that we are really addressing the issue of high costs of living. One way of addressing that is to make sure that we have more yields, and we then reduce, we have more available food produced within the county, and that way you can be able to reduce the cost per kilogram, or the cost of living. It is also an effort to increase incomes, because it is not just food that we are talking about. We are also talking about cash crops, and therefore increasing their yields and their productivity puts more money into the pockets.
And in Uasin Gishu County, the High Court in Eldoret has upheld the previous decision of the Eldoret Court to reject the appointment of 9 UDA-nominated ward representatives in Uasin Gishu County Assembly. Judge Stephen Riech has said that UDA party and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC), when appointing ward representatives, relied on a list that had been declared invalid. He has ordered the cancellation of the party list, which was announced on September 9th, 2022.
Tunashukuru. I want to thank the civil society network. Kama si wao hatungefika hapa. The human rights defenders, God bless you. Amen. Thank you everyone ambao ulisimama na sisi, ambao ulituombea, ambao ulisungumza hata kwa social media ukasema tupewe haki. Tunashukuru, tumepata haki yetu leo. Amen. Nataka tu kuomba kwamba kama na Wai County tumepewa haki. Tunaomba tuhapishwe kwa sababu tumechelewa mwaka mzima. Tunataka kuanza kazi hivi kwa sababu PWDs hatujawakilishwa kwa county assembly, hatujapata kilicho chetu, hatujakuwa na space yetu, hatujawakilishwa. Mwisho, nataka kuzungumza with the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency Sammy Ruto. Uasin Gishu imekuwa jikoni ya kukaranga corruption. Tunataka kukuomba President, China ya Uasin Gishu ikikufa hata yako si nzuri.
Koti ya leo vile imeamua, imetuamulia vizuri. Tumefurahi sisi tukiwa walemavu na wawakilishi wa agenda top up, na kila mmoja hata youth wenye walikuwa kwa ile 27 of July yenye imetajwa. Tunashukuru Mungu sana. Mimi leo sina maneno mengi, hata imenishinda niongee. Nimefurahi tu sana. Nataka tu niseme shukrani kwa Mwenyezi Mungu na kila mmoja yule mwenye amesimama mahali hapa. Tumeshiriki pamoja kwa ushindi huu. Nataka niwatakie mema na mazuri kila maisha na kila siku. Asante.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Wilson Mulwa. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Uasin Gishu. Uamuzi wa siku ya leo imekuwa uamuzi wa kweli. Kulingana na vile rais wetu wa Jamhuri wa Kenya William Samoei Ruto aliposema ya kwamba tuache koti iwe independent. Na hiyo inatuonyesha wazi ya kwamba mambo ambayo rais anasema inatekelezwa.
Uasin Gishu County, nataka kuwakumbusha viongozi ambao wanatoka Uasin Gishu County, this is the Royal County. Aibu hizi ambazo wamekuwa wakitutia katika kaunti hii, aibu za ufisadi na aibu za kila aina, tungeomba siku ya leo mambo yote ambayo yako pembeni yaweze kuwekwa katika mahakama, na vile jinsi ambavyo walemavu wameweza kupata haki, tunatumainia hata wale wengine ambao wamedhulumiwa kwa njia tofauti tofauti wanaenda kupata haki yao. Tuna jambo la kushukuru, tuna jambo la kusherekea. Nataka kusema walemavu, Mungu amewakumbuka siku ya leo, nasi watetezi wa haki na waomba mahali popote watetezi wa haki mlipo, msiogope, msisurutishwe kwa jambo lolote, ila msimamie haki, kwa sababu mwisho wa haki mambo mema huweza kutendeka.
And as one way of creating jobs for youth in Turkana County, the youth have been urged to join technical colleges as a way of equipping them with necessary skills needed in the job market. Turkana County Government, the Zizi Africa Organization and the Catholic Church Diocese of Lodwar are developing campaigns in all areas of Turkana to encourage young people to join technical colleges while targeting 10,000 people.
Hii campaign ya Form Ni TVET tunafanya katika kaunti nzima ya Turkana. Tulianzia Lokchogo, jana tumekuwa Lokchar na serikali ya kaunti, leo tuko Lorgum. Tunatarajia kwamba mwaka huu pekee tuweze kupata idadi ya 1400 kama ni kiwango ya chini kaunti mzima.
Idadi ya wanafunzi ambao wamejiunga na hii chuo ni wachache sana. Na hiyo ni kwa sababu community bado haijajua maana ya TVET. Na tungependa kuchukua nafasi hii kusungukia vijiji yote ambayo ziko hapa Loima sub county, ndio tuweze kuhamasisha hawa, tuwaeleze umuhimu wa TVET.
Unakupeana pesa za wanafunzi, inaitwa SYPT, ni grant. Na hiyo grant kwa kila mwanafunzi ni 15,000 kwa kila mwanafunzi. Tuzo kwa hizo shule ni 30,000. 15 za kwanza zinapenda kama tuition na county government. Ya pili hiyo 15 hiyo inabaki inaweza kuwa kama mwanafunzi aende kwa CDF ama bursary.
And now on sports, a section, or rather Union Berlin and Newcastle United are the new faces in the completed Champions League draw 2023-2024. Newcastle will face PSG, Borussia Dortmund and AC Milan in the first round of this year's UCL tournament, which starts next month. Our sports reporter Roy Fans Shikuku with more details.
UEFA Champions League draw, which was done yesterday, was much kinder to Arsenal, who will face Sevilla Young Boys. On the other hand, Manchester United will find it tougher to get out of their group after being pitted against Bayern Munich and England's captain Harry Kane. They progressed from that group by finishing second behind Juventus. Since in those days there were two group stages in the Champions League, Newcastle qualified for the second group stage, where they faced Barcelona, Inter Milan and Bayern Leverkusen. Unfortunately, they were eliminated at this stage, having only managed victories against Leverkusen and a draw against Inter Milan. On the other hand, in the Europa League draw, West Ham are in Group A, Brighton and Ajax are in Group B, Liverpool are in Group E, while Mourinho's side Roma are placed in Group G. They progressed from that group by finishing second behind Juventus. Since in those days there were two group stages in the Champions League, Newcastle qualified for the second group stage, where they faced Barcelona, Inter Milan and Bayern Leverkusen. Unfortunately, they were eliminated at this stage, having only managed victories against Leverkusen and a draw against Inter Milan. On the other hand, in the Europa League draw, West Ham are in Group A, Brighton and Ajax are in Group B, Liverpool are in Group E, while Mourinho's side Roma are placed in Group G.
Well, and EBN Sports marks the end of EBN Weekend Edition tonight. Many thanks for tuning in. Once again, my name is Sammy Adika. Do enjoy the rest of the weekend.